I did a video comparing two F550s for MPG and acceleration. One was a max tow and one was without. In this video, I have an F250 and F450. This is a cab and chassis truck, and then this is just a regular pickup truck. I want to compare fuel economy, acceleration, all that good stuff. Now, most people looking to buy this type of truck is probably getting started in HotShot. And then once they get established and they get a business, then they probably would step up to something like this. Now, some people are going to disagree with me on that, so that's why I'm doing this video. I'm hoping that some hotshotters out there will give their wisdom, whether they've been doing it for 10, 15 years and they still use this truck, or most of the guys I see coming here, they're buying this type of truck to do hotshot. So, and that's guys who have established businesses. Now, I have to give a shout out to Larry H. Miller, Super Ford here in Salt Lake City. Be sure to ask for Scott Gleason. He did help me with the keys on this truck today, and this truck is also available for sale. Let's drive the cabin chassis first so we can set the stage, and then we'll jump in the pickup truck next. We're gonna go ahead and get on the highway. I'm gonna reset the fuel economy up here. I want to do it in the exact same spot too, so let me just stop. Wait for this light to turn green. Now, we all know why this is such a great truck to tow with. The turning radius is amazing. You have payload for days. I'll go over some of the numbers here, but the light just turned green. But all right, here we go. Last time I drove one of these trucks, someone got on me about saying how slow it was. And the only reason why I brought that up is because this truck is noticeably slower. One, because it's heavier, and two, because you're down so much on power. And oh man, I just love this turning radius. Now, when I did the video comparing the F550s, one with, one without the max tow, I kind of confirmed that the suspension is actually stiffer on the F550 with max tow. On the F450, this thing rides probably about the same as the F450 with the bed on it. Probably, maybe not as good, but I can't tell the difference. Like, this rides really good. Now, obviously you guys saw I had that hauler bed on it, and that's probably in a neighborhood of 500 pounds plus. But yeah, this definitely feels good on the road. I'm sorry you guys are hearing that. That's the lane sensors telling me that I'm veering out of my lane, although I don't look like I am actually, but hey, it is what it is. But when you drive a truck like this truck is for long hauls. Like, it's so heavy, and I feel as though if you're going to be towing over 20,000 pounds, this is going to be the better truck to do it with. That's how I see it. And the beauty of having a truck like this is you can have upwards of 180 gallons of fuel on board, so you don't have to worry about stopping as much. So that's going to obviously be the other benefit too. But as far as the overall ergonomics go, this is basically a Super Duty. It has cooled seats, it has heated seats. This is a Lariat, so this is a top trim. So you have all the nice features that you would get in that truck here. Also, it has the auxiliary switches up top here, and it has that annoying. Let me see if I can turn that off, because I don't think I'm going out of my lane that much. So I just turned it off. There we go. We're good. Now, it doesn't steer you from what I can see. It just lets you know, hey, you're going in your lane. But yeah, this truck rides great. If you haul horses and you really want more truck, the F450 is perfect for that. I mean, this has a longer wheelbase too, so that's another reason why it rides pretty darn good. But it is stiff. You can hear my baggage jumping back there. Normally you don't hear my bags back there like that. But yes, it definitely is stiffer. It's just not as bad as I expected it to be. You know, especially with it having the bed, because the other trucks I tested did not have a bed on them. Now, in case you wanted to see the RPMs, at 67 miles an hour, let me just drop down just a hair. We're in 10th gear, you can see that. We're just under 2,000 RPMs. We're probably at 1850 RPMs. That is amazing. 410 rear end. You can get a 430 with this truck. But I would venture to say That is really, really good. Now, I cannot wait to show you the difference with that 331 with the power stroke. 10-speed 10R140 transmission on both trucks. So the gearing is probably about, I would say it's 100% the same. There's probably no differences there. Now, if you get that 430, that's where you're gonna make the difference on the RPMs that you're seeing. But all in all, I'm pleased by this truck. Having that longer wheelbase makes this truck ride so good. Here are the numbers on the door. You guys can see that gross vehicle weight rating is gonna be 16,000 pounds. And Tallboy did the upfit for the bed. So this truck is probably around 9,800 pounds, give or take. So figure once you go over a scale, you're gonna have around 6,000 pounds of payload. That's my educated guess. You have storage on the sides of this bed here, which is really nice for all your extra supplies. If you want to add a fuel tank, you can add one here. As you guys saw, 6.5 gallons already under the truck here. 24,000 pound conventional towing, 30,000 for that gooseneck there, and this one does have the headache rack as well. Now this is where you have to make a decision for yourself. If you know you're going to drive a lot faster, getting a pickup truck might be better, because now we're over 2,000 RPMs at 74 miles an hour. So the sweet spot on this truck would be 69 maybe. Let's see what 69 miles an hour looks like. Oh, this does have adaptive cruise control, by the way, too. And some of these features might even be available in the XLT trim level too, so don't mark that off. So at 69 miles an hour, we're just at 2,000 RPMs, right there. So that's the only negative with the cabin chassis truck. Having that lower gearing out back means you're gonna run at a higher RPM. But yeah, if you get an XLT also, I wanted to mention also, you can get a center console in that truck too. So this is too much truck for you, because this is $86,000 without the bed on it. So figure the bed's another, I don't know exactly the price, so maybe 12 grand. Yeah, this is a 6-figure truck basically. So yeah, you can probably get a discount, so just be sure to call into the dealership. But I would venture to say this is a 6-figure truck right now. Looking at a cabin chassis truck with a diesel, it's gonna have a detuned engine. So it's gonna have 330 horsepower and 950 pound-feet of torque. It's still using that 10-speed transmission. This truck does have the 410. Let's see how it accelerates. Here we go.
$30. $60.
My apologies for not showing you guys the midpoint. I went a little bit further because I want to get a little bit more highway driving on this truck, and of course on the other one as well. But we're at 15.3 at the highest. So you're gonna lose a little bit of fuel economy using a truck like this. It's heavier, there's more drag probably. Well, actually, I wouldn't say there's more drag with this bed. This bed actually probably has less drag. But you just can't deny the feel the truck has. I think that if I were to do HotShot, I would want a truck like this. I know some people like the idea of a pickup bed because you can still use a truck as a normal pickup, but I would think this is the way I would do it. I know a lot of people think you're gonna spend a lot more money in fuel. When you're towing a trailer at 20,000 pounds, I feel as though they all do about the same as their diesels. I mean, sometimes I've noticed where maybe the higher gearing out back might help you, but 9 times out of 10, I've noticed that they perform about the same. But yeah, the 0 to 60, you guys saw that. Whoa, that was pretty bad, right? 11.83 seconds. It's not bad, it's just, this is a heavy truck, and you're not buying this at all for performance. You're buying this to work. So it's just good to see the numbers compared to a regular pickup truck, which is why I put them in all my videos. There's that dual fuel tank set up there. So 66.5 gallons of fuel on this truck. Now I want to show you guys the gauges here. Here's all the temperatures. If I remember, I'll do this for the other truck as well. So
Coolant's at 199, transmission's at 197, engine oil temperature is at 204, and then here is the turbo boost. Now the exhaust filter is showing 65%. That's why I wanted to drive a little bit longer, because the truck is probably about to go into a regen. If not, it might be regenning right now. But yeah, all in all, this truck does feel really good on the road. I've always been told that cabin chassis trucks ride like crap unless you have a trailer hooked up, but I'm not feeling that in this truck. And here's where we stopped off at 13.4 MPGs, 21.1 miles driven. I think the truck is on a regen because I dropped like almost a half an MPG just now. So here's where it is right now. Actually it went down, it's at 40%, which is nice. So if I had the time, I would drive it again just to get it back to zero, but I don't have the time today, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and drive that long bed, and then we will see what it does against this cabin chassis.
We're inside the pickup truck now, and this truck is so much easier to drive. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I'm so used to driving this, so jumping inside of this, it's easier to maneuver, especially going around the parking lot. And yeah, it's a little bit smaller truck too. Now I will say you will miss that great turning radius, especially when you're trying to get around cars, making the U-turn. I wish I would have had this camera on so you guys could see me do that U-turn. That's where that truck is amazing. Like when you have to make a U-turn in a F450, F550 cab chassis truck, it's game over. It's just so easy. But yeah, this truck rides better. It feels better on the road, I would say. And that's in part to just not having a load. So this truck is built for recreational and heavy towing, right? And of course, unloaded driving. That truck we just drove was all about towing, 100%, or just being heavy all the time. I mean, you heard the payload on that truck. You'll see it on this one. But yeah, I definitely understand why guys do choose this one. It's a lot cheaper to, you know, get right out of the gate. You don't have to get a bed for it. There's no guesswork. And it's gonna have a lower price regardless of how you look at it, because you still have to spend at least $5 grand. I mean, some guys can get away with a $5,000 HotShot bed, or HotShot body they call it. But this is just better out of the gate. You can get a fifth wheel prep package from the manufacturer, have that already in there, get your fifth wheel hitch or gooseneck ball, whatever you need, and go. But you don't have the type of capacity that you may need sometimes for that type of setup. And some companies, I don't know how it works for HotShot. If I own a business and I saw a guy pull up in this, and then another guy pulled up in that F450, and I was going to be needing someone to haul something cross country and I wanted to get there safely, I would think I would want to choose that cabin chassis truck. That's just how I look at it. I know that's not how it's done, but in my mind, I want the best truck for the job, and that's just the way my mind works. So that's why, for me, I don't know if I'd pick an F250 or even an F350 single rear wheel. I think I would just get a dually at the very least, F450, right? But yeah, this truck rides great. It's easy to drive, and it has the longer wheelbase. And this, I believe, with the Super Cab, it should still have the 48-gallon fuel tank, so you're not down that much in fuel. And you could probably put another 100 gallons or so inside the bed, but you're not going to have the 170, 180, 190 you can get with that cabin chassis truck. And I'm willing to bet you, if you were to put 2,500 pounds of weight on this truck, it's not going to handle nowhere near as good as that cabin chassis will. By the way, the payload on this truck is not as high, so again, you're still limited to what you can tow in some cases as well.
And look at that. Whoo! Whoa! You are so far below 2,000 RPMs. Do you see what the difference of a 331 axle ratio versus a 410 does? Oh my goodness. That is insane. Wow. And let's go ahead and get up to 75 miles an hour. I mean, it's no comparison. I mean, if you're only planning on towing 15,000 pounds or less, by all means, this is the truck you're gonna get. But if you want to tow heavy, I mean, you're gonna probably have to get that F450 for sure. At least a dually. But yeah, even at almost 80 miles an hour, we're not even close. So this truck might have that lugging effect. I use that term sometimes. When I have my 2018 Ram with the 342 gears, I will admit I hated towing with that truck because I felt like sometimes it would lug, like especially if I was going up a steep grade, it would have like this lugging effect. And maybe it was a 6-speed transmission, maybe, I don't know. I just never liked it. When I went to the 3500 with the 373 in 2019, it all went away. So yeah, that's just something to consider, having that higher gearing out back. But you do run lower RPMs. I mean, I'm at 75 miles an hour, guys, and yeah, it's no brainer. So here are the numbers on the door. You guys can see the gross vehicle weight is going to be 10,600 pounds, and all-in payload capacity is going to be 2,864 pounds. Here are the temperatures for the engine coolant, transmission, and the engine oil. Now the transmission seems to be the only one that's not as hot, and that's probably in part to just the difference in the gross vehicle weight of these trucks. Like that truck was probably around 9,800 pounds, as I said. This one's just probably around what, 8 with the aluminum bodies. But we are at the midpoint, and before I forget again, let me just show you guys where we are. You're gonna be pretty surprised. 22 MPG, holy smokes. Yeah, no brainer at all, right? Or maybe not. Now, under the hood of this Super Duty is the standard output power stroke. So it's gonna have 475 horsepower and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. Let's see how this power gets delivered through that 10-speed and that 331 axle ratio to 60. Here we go.
$30, $60,
There was a little bit of a delay coming off the line, but I forgot, this is not the high output. This is a standard output power stroke. I was like, man, this seems a little bit sluggish. So yeah, that high output with just 25 more horsepower, it gets off the line a lot better. Like I feel like there's a dead spot. I haven't felt that in so long because I couldn't tell you the last time I've done a video on this truck with the standard output. Maybe if I have a chance, maybe I'll do a high output versus standard output 0 to 60 MPG run to show you guys the differences. I don't think I've ever done that before because in the past it was just hard to get both those trucks at the same time. So that's a good video for me to do in the future for you guys. So I might do that for you. But yeah, 0 to 60 was what, 7 point something crazy. Like I was like, whoa, this truck is fast. It really is, and it's still pretty heavy too. So we should be back soon. Yeah, we're at 20.6 MPGs. That didn't hurt at all. Just 2 MPG drop. But yeah, I definitely think that unloaded, you're gonna save all the money. But if you're towing a trailer, I'm willing to bet you it's gonna be about the same.
So the trips were almost identical. I think I stopped at the exact same lights. It was like perfect. I think I even stayed in the same lanes. I've been trying to do that too to make it almost perfectly matched. But yeah, 21.2 MPG, 24 minutes driven, which I think is about the same as the last truck, and then 21.2 miles. So yes, this truck won by a long shot. So to no one's surprise, the F450 won. Obviously that truck is a lot heavier. It's a dual rear wheel, and so it's gonna get worse fuel economy. Now, here's what I will tell you. If you're only thinking about towing 15,000 pounds or less, or just hauling RVs cross country, sure, this is the best truck to go with. But if you plan on towing upwards of 20,000 pounds plus, I would just say go with the cabin chassis. These trucks are gonna get the exact same fuel economy loaded up. I'm telling you, if you were to put the same trailer behind both these trucks, I'm willing to bet you they're gonna get the same fuel economy. And this one might even get better because it'll probably utilize 9th and 10th gear more compared to this truck because the RPMs are too low, and when you're climbing it's gonna keep downshifting. It might even get a little busy in some cases with that higher gearing out back compared to the 410. So I'll show you guys the numbers, obviously what we just did, and then I'm going to show you guys if we were towing a scenario like giving this truck maybe 8.3, and then I'll do this one at 8.7 because that's about the difference is what it would be. Okay, but I hope you guys like the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. I'm thinking about doing more videos comparing Super Duty with half-ton trucks as well, because I had someone ask me a great question, because they were like wondering, hey, I know you do a lot of MPG runs, have you ever done numbers on a half-ton compared to a Super Duty? And I was like, you know what, I think I have, but I don't remember doing one. So maybe I'll do that on the Ford side, the Chevy, GMC, Ram side. That way you guys have an idea, because some guys are only looking to tow 8,000-9,000 pounds, and so they are looking at half tons, but they're concerned that the Super Duty or the HD truck might be too much for them in terms of the cost, right? So we'll do a video on that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like I said. See you guys soon.